10th class. Hope all of you are happy as well as healthy. Now as we have started chapter number 3 from chemistry, metal and non-metal. In earlier period we have seen about the physical property of metal as well as non-metal. Now you have to give me some answers. Let us recall your memory based on earlier lecture. Tell me, which metal exists in liquid condition? Okay, mercury. Very good. Then second number, which metal is best conductor of electricity? Yes, silver. Correct. Which metal is poor conductor of electricity? Yes, correct. That is the lead. We are saying mercury. Mercury and lead are poor conductor of electricity. Silver is the best conductor of electricity. Other metals are also good conductor of electricity. But because of high rate of silver, we are not using for electrical purpose. Anyway, these are some physical properties you have learned in previous lecture. Now in that we have discussed about that metals are good conductor of heat as well as they have a high melting point and boiling point. So let us prove this activity. Based on this activity, one can say that metals are good conductor of heat as well as they have a high melting point. So let us perform this activity. To show metals are good conductor of heat and have high melting point. They are what? Good conductor of heat. Generally metals are what? Good conductor of heat. That's why they are useful for making utensils and they are having high melting point. Now here, for this activity, we want to prove this one. So let us start this activity. Now material required as per that, as shown in the figure. This one is stainless steel, iron nail, which is fixed by this bed, burner, stand, and this aluminum rod. These are the some things we need for this activity. Now let us start this activity. Now take aluminum rod here. Aluminum or copper rod we are taking and fix it into a stand. Now at particular place, you keep iron nail and fix it with the help of wedge. Fix these iron nails with the help of wedge and below this rod, you have to keep burner. Start the burner and observe the skin. What we have done? First we have fixed that metallic rod. Metallic rod means what? Here I have taken aluminum rod. You can take copper rod, aluminum rod, whatever the metallic rod if you want to take. This aluminum rod is fixed onto stand. Then at particular distance you have to fix iron nails. Now these iron nails fixed with the help of wedge. Here wedge is there. With the help of wedge, these iron nails are fixed. After fixing this iron nail at particular distance, we have kept here Bunsen burner. Now start heating with the help of this Bunsen burner. What happens when you start heating? You will observe, slowly and gradually this wedge start melting, and because of that wedge start melting, these iron nails one by one fall down. And thereafter, as such, you go on heating these iron nails. Nearest iron nail first start, fall down, then second one, then third one, like that. But if you go on starting like this process, continuous, heat it, then after heating longer time, this aluminum rod remains as such. Why? Because metal having high melting point. They are good conductor of heat. They are good conductor of heat. That's why iron nails only fall down. They will not melt. But they conduct the electricity. It becomes too hot. They are good conductor of heat, but their melting point is too high. After after heating near about 10 to 12 hours, then also it will not melt as such. So that shows these metals have good conductor of heat as well as they having high melting point. Now, as in the previous lecture, we have discussed about their physical properties. Now, let us start about their chemical properties of metals. Now, the chemical property, that first we will learn about metal. As yes, in previous period, we have discussed metals are what? Electropositive in nature. That means what? They have tendency to lose the electron from outer shell and form positive charge. That's why we are saying they are electropositive in nature. Then second thing you have to remember, metals are waste reducing agent or good reducing agent. In that alkali metals especially we are saying they are waste reducing agent because they reduce other substance and itself get oxidized. That's why we are saying they are waste reducing agent or good reducing agent. Now let us see other chemical properties based on this metal. So from that, metal plus oxygen. Metal they react with oxygen present in air. When we heat it, they form metal oxide. And generally, all these metal oxides, generally whatever word I am using, they are basic in nature. Basic oxide. These metal oxide whatever form, if you take the pH or if you take the litmus paper, red litmus paper turns blue. But that weight makes it weight. And then after take the pH of this litmus paper, pH of this metal oxide or take the litmus paper, take that litmus test, you will observe that a blue litmus turns, red litmus paper turns blue. pH paper it turns blue. That shows metal oxide are what? Basic in nature. Now, let us give that example. There are so many examples. Generally sodium, we are saying more reactive metal. Sodium, potassium, they are highly reactive metals. When they come in contact with oxygen present in air, they immediately get fire and it gives you metal oxide. Large amount of heat also gets generated. But these metal oxides are what? Sodium reacts with oxygen gas, then it gives you sodium oxide. Calcium reacts with oxygen gas. Calcium is what? Solid in nature. Metal is there, solid in nature, reacts with oxygen gas. It produces calcium oxide, that is a solid form. Calcium oxide once again is what? Basic in nature. Same way, in first chapter you might be done this activity. Magnesium reacts with oxygen, it gives you magnesium oxide. Aluminum reacts with oxygen, it gives you aluminum oxide. So this way, all the metal oxides are what? Basic in nature. Generally magnesium, aluminum, zinc, these metals, they are protected by their oxide layer. Earlier we have seen magnesium ribbon. We are rubbing with a sandpaper. Why? Because to remove the protective layer, basic protective layer of magnesium oxide. Then only it starts burning. The same way aluminum also protected with the oxide layer. So aluminum oxide is coated on the surface of aluminum. If you want to heat it, so aluminum, first you have to rub with the sandpaper, then only it start heating because it is protected by aluminum oxide. So this is about the reaction of metals with their oxygen and it gives you metal oxide which generally basic in nature. Now let us see about the characteristics of metal oxide. Let us learn some characteristics of these metal oxides. First one is what? Solubility in water. When we take metal oxide and dissolve in water, they form base or alkali. If sodium is there, potassium oxide is there, then if we dissolve in water, they form a water-soluble base. That's why we are saying sodium hydroxide is what? Alkali. So sodium oxide, when react with water, it gives you sodium hydroxide. Then when potassium oxide, if we dissolve in water, then it gives you potassium hydroxide. But if we are taking calcium oxide, then magnesium oxide, react with water, it gives you calcium hydroxide, magnesium gives you magnesium hydroxide, magnesium oxide gives you magnesium hydroxide. That means what? These hydroxides are nothing but they are basic in nature. So as such, earlier I said, remember all the metal oxides are what? Basic in nature. Now here, all these are basic in nature. But some of the metal oxides, they are known as the amphoteric. What do you mean by amphoteric? Amphoteric, that means what? Those oxides which react with acid as well as base are called amphoteric oxides. Example here, I have written here, aluminum oxide, zinc oxide, they are amphoteric in nature. Taking the example with acid as well as base. Now let us take the first example, zinc oxide is an amphoteric oxide. Why? Because it reacts with acid as well as base. Now zinc oxide, when it reacts with acid, it forms zinc chloride as well as water molecule. Because zinc oxide is what? Basic in nature. This one is the acid. Acid-base reaction take place. Once again, what happens? Neutralization reaction, and we are getting metal salt as well as water molecule. So here, zinc chloride plus water will be produced. The same way, if we are taking zinc oxide with that base, now remember zinc oxide also basic in nature. We are taking with some water soluble base, that is the alkali. When you mix with each other, zinc oxide is not solid in nature, this one is the aqueous in nature. When you treat together, react together, then what happens? You are getting sodium zincate as well as water molecule. That means what? Once again, this zinc oxide, it reacts with some sodium hydroxide. That means what? These are the amphoteric in nature. Same way, I have given two examples. You have to remember the definition as well as the example. So, another example we are writing here, that is what? Aluminum oxide, when reacts with sulfuric acid, instead of now hydrochloric acid, I have taken sulfuric acid. So, aluminum oxide reacts with sulfuric acid, it gives you aluminum sulfate and water gets eliminated. Now next example, aluminum oxide reacts with sodium hydroxide. It gives you sodium aluminate and water gets splitted from it. That means what? These two oxides, one is the zinc oxide, another one is the aluminum oxide. These two oxides only, they react with the acid as well as base together. That's why they are known as the amphoteric in nature. Okay, remaining all the metal oxides are what? Basic in nature, but these two metal oxides you have to remember amphoteric in nature. One is the zinc oxide, second one is the aluminum oxide. So these are the characteristics of metal oxide. First we have learned about the solubility of metal oxide in water. They give you base as shown in here in different examples. And if you take the litmus test or the pH test, one can easily say that these are basic in nature. All the hydroxides are what? Bases are there. Some of that basic in nature and most of that basic in nature, and but some of few of that we have same here. Aluminum oxide, zinc oxide, they are what? Amphoteric in nature. Now let us learn another property of chemical property of metal. Now metals, when they react with water, they form metal hydroxide as well as hydrogen gas. Now based on reactivity series, earlier we have done that reactivity series, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, lead, then hydrogen, then after coming towards copper, mercury, like that way, silver, then gold and platinum. Likewise, the reactivity series, if you move from top to bottom, the reactivity of metal is what? Goes on decreasing. So sodium and potassium is what? Highly reactive. They react with the air, they react with some water. So let us learn here what happens when metal come in contact with some water. So they form metal hydroxide as well as hydrogen gas. Some metals, when these more reactive metals, generally immediately you will get metal hydroxide as well as hydrogen. But some metals, they will not react with water. Then we are reacting these type of metal with a steam and they form metal oxide and hydrogen gas. Once again, metal oxide, when they come in contact with water molecule, we are getting metal hydroxide. Likewise, there are so many different type of reaction. Example I have shown here. Now let us see about the sodium. Sodium is highly reactive metal. When we take inside the water, immediately what happens? Sodium hydroxide forms, hydrogen gas is formed, a large amount of heat will be generated. It is a violent reaction, vigorous reaction and highly exothermic reaction. Because sodium as well as potassium, sodium, they are highly reactive metal, they react with the air. So if you keep from kerosene, if you immerse inside the water, then what happens? You immediately it will react and gives you exothermic violent reaction. Large amount of heat will be generated. We will get the fire surrounding area because of the reactivity of that metal. Now let us start another one. Example, magnesium. Magnesium, when you take inside that water, we are not taking steam. Remember, I have taken simply tap water immersed inside that magnesium metal. Then we are getting, and then heat it. We are getting magnesium hydroxide as well as hydrogen gas. But as such, without heating, we will not able to get this type of reaction. But when we take magnesium and react with steam, H2O gaseous form, that means what? Steam, it produces magnesium oxide as well as hydrogen gas. Then this magnesium oxide once again react with water, it gives you magnesium hydroxide. That is the milk of magnesium. We are using as an anti-acid purpose. So magnesium hydroxide can be produced from magnesium oxide by emerging inside the water molecule. Now next one, aluminum, zinc and iron. These type of reactions. There are so many other reactions also there. Copper, if we are taking and react with this hydrogen water molecule, that means what? Water molecule but in the form of gas, steam. Steam is what? More effective, more heat energy than a simple water. Not boiled water, but we have taken steam. Steam is more effective than a boiling water. So that's why this reaction takes place and it gives you metal oxide as well as hydrogen gas. Same way zinc, react with steam, it gives you zinc oxide as well as hydrogen gas liberated. In all the cases of this gaseous form, hydrogen will liberate. These shows that gaseous form, and zinc oxide is what? Solid in nature. Now iron, once again, it reacts with the water molecule, it gives you iron oxide, ferric oxide, that is what? Iron oxide and a hydrogen gas. This reaction is also known as a redox reaction. In first chapter we have done this reaction, this type of reaction. But when iron reacts with a simple water molecule, it gives you ferric oxide Fe2O3, that is what? Rust. But here with steam it forms iron oxide Fe3O4 and with that hydrogen gas liberated. So based on reactivity series, one can say metal, when they come in contact with water, they form metal hydroxide as well as hydrogen gas. In your textbook, one activity is given. In that you have to take one by one these type of metals. Generally we are not taking sodium, potassium, such type of metal, but we are taking magnesium, aluminum, zinc and iron one by one. We are taking inside that the boiling tube. Hold the boiling tube properly and fix with a sand, and then inside this glass tube you have to keep glass woolen. That glass wool is what the substance when you heat it, from that the moisture or from that water vapor produced, and it is this water vapor react with this type of a metal and it form a metal hydroxide. Directly we are getting metal hydroxide, first metal oxide, and from that hydrogen gas is liberated. If you go on heating, then we are getting metal hydroxide from it. So such a type of activity is given in your textbook. From this activity one comes to know, one can say that sodium is more reactive. First potassium, then reactivity of potassium is more than sodium. We are not taking inside that boiling tube because it gives you highly exothermic reaction, violent reaction, very vigorous reaction takes place. Maybe possibility of breaking up that boiling tube will be there. That's why we are starting with the magnesium, then aluminum, zinc, iron. Likewise, so first we will observe when you take all these metals together, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, and then we are getting the oxides. First we will get the oxides of magnesium, then second we get the oxides of aluminum, zinc. Likewise we are getting as per the reactivity series. So reactivity of metal with a water molecule is given here. Sodium more reactive, then calcium, then magnesium, then aluminum, then zinc, then iron, then copper. Likewise it is given in your textbook. So this way one can say metal react with water molecule and they form metal oxide and hydrogen gas liberated. Now next one, these metal oxide are what, as such I tell you, they form the protective layer, especially in case of magnesium, aluminum and zinc. They form the protective layer on the surface of this metal, and that layer is known as the metal oxide layer. They prevent it from other reactions. That is the reason in big boiler in different industries they are making with this copper and another glass material, not with this empty metals. Why? Because these metals they react with steam and they form a metal oxide, and from that hydrogen gas gets liberated, and further they go on heating, they form metal hydroxide. That is the reason in big boiler they are not using stainless steel or other metal, but they are using, instead of that they are using copper or some, because copper is what, very least reactive metal, less reactive. Silver, gold one cannot use, but instead of that either they are using copper or they are using glass. Now let us learn third chemical property of this metal. Now this metal react with some acid and they form metal salt as well as hydrogen gas. As we have seen in first chapter, that metal always react with acid and they give you metal salt and a hydrogen gas. Here simple one example is taken. When we take zinc, react with hydrochloric acid, it gives you zinc chloride and hydrogen gas. Once again, the conformity phase of hydrogen gas, how you come to know that hydrogen gas? When you bring that burning candle near to the mouth of that glass or through the test tube from where it is released, it produces the puff sound. From puff sound with the burning candle you come to know that given gas is what? Hydrogen gas. That already we have seen. So same way zinc, if you are taking hydrochloric acid instead of if we are taking this sulfuric acid, then on same way zinc sulfate and hydrogen will release. If we take another metal instead of this one, so here we are generally showing hydrochloric acid as well as this is sulfuric acid. Why all the metals we are showing with hydrochloric acid as well as sulfuric acid? Why we are not checking nitric acid over here? Remember, here I have shown Example with hydrochloric acid. Same you can take with sulfuric acid. It will react, it will form that metal salt as well as a hydrogen gas. But remember, this nitric acid, concentrated dilute nitric acid or concentrated nitric acid. If we are saying about the nitric acid, these type of metal, that means what? Aluminum, zinc, iron, they will not react with the nitric acid. That means what? How this reaction takes place? As such, nitric acid is what? Base oxidizing agent. When they react, when they come in contact with this metal, nitric acid come in contact with these type of metals such as aluminum, zinc, iron, immediately what happens? Suppose metal oxide forms, but whatever that hydrogen that will be converted with nitric acid, convert this hydrogen into water molecule and it stops the reaction. That's why this reaction will not take place with other metals except magnesium and manganese. This magnesium and manganese, these two metals, they react with nitric acid and they form metal salt as well as hydrogen gas. That means what? Remember you this thing. Why? Number of times it is asked. Why? Metal, all the metals, they will not react with nitric acid. Behind that reason is what? Nitric acid is what? Good oxidizing agent. During that reaction, it oxidizes hydrogen gas into water molecule and convert into water molecule and reaction will not take place. But only in the case of magnesium and manganese, they react with nitric acid, they form magnesium nitrate as well as from that magnesium nitrate will form and hydrogen gas release. If manganese we are taking, then manganese nitrate will form and hydrogen gas will release from. This way one can say that metal react with acid, but which acid? Either dilute hydrochloric acid or dilute sulfuric acid. That also depend upon the reactivity series. Gold and silver, gold, platinum, generally they will not react with these type of acids. They react with nitric acid and hydrochloric acid that we will learn afterwards. So let us complete first these type of chemical properties. Now generally, magnesium and calcium, when we dissolve in water, here I have written only given magnesium example with water, or if you take calcium with water, then this magnesium and calcium, what happens? They float on the surface of water. Why? Because of hydrogen. These hydrogen bubbles, they stick on the surface of that container, and due to that, this metal float on the surface of water. Due to that reason, we are saying magnesium as well as calcium, they are lighter weight elements, and lighter elements, they are more reactive as soon as this hydrogen gas produced. This hydrogen is water, they are bubbles. Hydrogen is what? Lighter than air. These bubbles, they strike on the surface of water, and this metal, it tries to float on the surface of water. So you have to remember this property, chemical property. So today we have learned chemical property as well as physical property. Some activities are given in your textbook. Metals are good conductor of electricity. That is a physical property. Yesterday, earlier we have seen. So metals are good conductor of electricity. That we are knowing. In lower classes also you might be done one activity. If you take iron nail and connect the circuit, if you connect the iron nail with that circuit, metal means current can be passed through it, and bulb or a small LED, if you have connected, it will glow. But if you take, instead of that metal, if you take any another insulator, either plastic, chalk or any other insulator, it will not glow. That activity one can say based on metals are good conductor of electricity. Here I have shown metals are what? Good conductor of heat as well as they having high melting point by this activity. So during this period, today we have learned about their chemical property, some activity based on their physical property and chemical property. Only 3 chemical property today we have discussed, that is the one, metal react with oxygen and form metal oxide. They are basic in nature. Once again, metal oxide, if you immerse in water, reactivity with water, they give you metal hydroxide. As we know, the metal hydroxide are what? Basic in nature. Generally, metal oxides are basic in nature as well as some of that amphoteric in nature. Amphoteric means what? Those metal oxides which react with the acid as well as bases are called amphoteric in nature. Then second chemical property, reaction of metal with water, it gives you metal hydroxide as well as the hydrogen gas. The same way, some metals they directly react with water, but some metals they will react with steam or boiled water, because reactivity series, as per reactivity series, directly we can take here sodium, potassium or calcium, not other than that one. So magnesium, aluminum, here you have to take with some steam. Steam is what? More energetic compared to tap water. So here with tap water they will not react, but with steam they react and form metal oxide as well as hydrogen gas. Then third chemical property we have discussed here, that metal react with acid and it gives you metal salt and hydrogen gas. Hello everyone. As we have started the chemical properties of metal, so let us continue it. We have completed three chemical properties of metal. That means first one is metal react with oxygen. They form metal oxide, and most of metal oxide are what? Basic in nature and some of that amphoteric in nature. Second chemical property we have seen that metal react with water as well as steam. Some of the more reactive metals they directly react with tap water, and some of that less reactive or moderate reactive metals they react with steam and they form metal oxide and hydrogen gas liberated. These metal oxides once again they react with a water molecule and form metal hydroxide. Third chemical property we have discussed about that metal react with acid and it gives you metal salt and hydrogen gas. Only with sulfuric, nitric, sulfuric as well as hydrochloric. Only two metals, that is magnesium as well as manganese, they react with nitric acid and they form metal oxide, metal salt and hydrogen gas. Why? Nitric acid is base oxidizing agent. It oxidizes the hydrogen gas and convert into water molecule. That is the reason all the metals they did not react with the nitric acid. Now, as for the reactivity series, we are knowing reactivity series of the different metals. I have written here potassium, sodium, calcium. As we go down in this series, you can answer that potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium as well as aluminum. Reactivity slowly and gradually decreases. So these metals, potassium to aluminum, considerable as a more reactive metal. Zinc to lead, moderate reactive metals. Copper and silver up to silver, less reactive metal, and this one gold and platinum is what? Least reactive metal. Okay, so potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, they are known as the most reactive metal. But here Au means gold and Pd means what? Platinum. They come down in the reactivity series. That means what? They will not react at all with air, water or any acid. That means whatever the third chemical property we have discussed, when you take gold and sulfuric acid, it will not react it will not dissolve in it. If you take platinum and hydrochloric acid, it will not react with it. But these type of metal, gold, platinum, such type of metal can be dissolved in aqua regia. Now let us see what is the meaning of this aqua regia or royal water. That is another name of these type of solutions. Now aqua regia is a mixture of concentrated hydrochloric acid and nitric acid. 3 parts of concentrated hydrochloric acid and 1 part of nitric acid. That mixture is known as the aqua regia. When this mixture react together, then it forms nitrosyl chloride and water molecule, and one more important, that is the Neilson chloride. Now this Neilson chloride is what? Strong chlorine molecule, a strong chloride ion which reacts with gold and it forms gold chloride. Because of this Neilson chloride, gold or platinum, it can be dissolved inside this mixture, and such type of mixture is known as the aqua regia. Aqua regia is what? 3 parts of concentrated hydrochloric acid as well as 1 part of concentrated nitric acid. That mixture is known as either royal water or aqua regia. So goldsmiths generally they use for dissolving this gold or melting this gold inside this aqua regia solution. Now let us continue with this chemical property. Now 3 already we have done. Now 4th chemical property is what? Metal. They react, some of the metals react with hydrogen and they form metal hydride. Not all the metals they react with the hydrogen. Remember, because hydrogen only few of the alkali metals as well as alkaline earth metals. Metal react with hydrogen and they form metal hydride, such as alkali metal. Sodium react with hydrogen, it forms sodium hydride. Now when this sodium hydroxide once again dissolve in water, it forms sodium hydroxide as well as hydrogen gas released from it. That means what? Only alkali metals as well as alkaline earth metals. These two periodic group, in that of first periodic group and second periodic group, in that these two metals they react with hydrogen and they form metal hydride. Once again this metal hydride react with water molecule and they form metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas released from it. This one is actually 5th chemical property. Now let us see about the 4th chemical property. Metals they react with halogen. It's not hydrogen but it is the halogen. Metals react with the halogen and it form metal halide. React with the halogen. Halogen means what? Chlorine, fluorine, bromine. All these 17 group elements are known as the halogen molecules. So here halogen group means what? Fluorine, fluorine, bromine, iodine, all these are the halogen atoms, 17 group in periodic table. So metal when come in contact with halogen, it form metal halide. That means what? This metal halide is ionic compound which is formed by transferring the electron from metal towards the non-metal. Let us see the example. Sodium is what? Metal. When it come in contact with chlorine. Chlorine is what? Halogen atom. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, all these are halogen atoms. So when sodium reacts with chlorine, it forms sodium chloride. Why? It forms ionic compound because this sodium outer shell, how many electrons are there? 1 electron. And chlorine outer shell, it has 7 electrons. Okay, that we will learn afterwards. But from sodium, this 1 electron gets transferred towards chloride ion and it forms that compound, and such type of compounds are known as the ionic compounds. So metal when come in contact with halogen, they form metal halide, and metal halides are nothing but these type of compounds are known as the ionic compounds. So sodium plus chlorine gives you sodium chloride, calcium plus bromine gives you calcium bromide, calcium plus chlorine gives you calcium chloride. Likewise, magnesium gives you with chlorine gives you magnesium chloride. So all these type of compounds are known as the ionic compound. Sodium chloride, calcium bromide, magnesium chloride, because from metal towards the non-metal, some electron gets transferred, and while transferring the electron, when compound is formed, that compound is known as the ionic compound, and that type of compound is formed with the ionic bond. Now this type of bond is known as the ionic bond that we will discuss afterwards. So that is the 4th chemical property of metal. 5th, as already we have seen, metal with hydrogen, it gives you metal hydride. But here also you have to remember all the metals, they will not react with hydrogen. Only some of the metals, that means what? The alkali metals and the alkaline earth metals. Sodium, potassium, calcium, such type of metals, they react with hydrogen and form metal hydride. And once again, metal hydride, when dissolved in water, they give you metal hydroxide, means base, as well as hydrogen gas liberated from it. Now, next chemical property of this metal. Metal, suppose we are taking one metal, that is I have given number 1, metal 1, which is more reactive metal. Now, another I have taken metal salt, but this metal here, whatever in metal salt present is what? Quite less reactive than this metal. Then only this reaction takes place, and such type of reaction is also known as a displacement reaction. Now let us see the example of displacement reaction. Based on reactivity series, displacement reaction takes place. As I have written here, sodium, potassium, magnesium, all these are the, as we go down in this reactivity series, this reactivity of this metal goes on decreasing. Now here I have taken one example is what? Zinc. That is and copper sulfate. Now here let us see about the zinc and copper. Now zinc is what? More reactive metal, and copper is what? Less reactive metal. So compared to zinc, copper is a less reactive metal. That's why this reaction takes place. So zinc I have taken more reactive metal, and copper sulfate, where copper is less reactive than zinc. That's why this reaction takes place, and copper gets displaced from copper sulfate solution, and zinc takes its position. And such type of reaction is known as a displacement reaction. So zinc reacts with copper sulfate. Now copper sulfate its color is what? Blue color. When we add zinc granules inside it, then within short time period this granule mix together and it displaces copper from copper sulfate solution, and we are getting decolorized or colorless solution of zinc sulfate, and the copper gets displaced from it. So such a type of reaction takes place. But if we are taking another, so many examples are given in your textbook as well as reference. You can take iron is put inside the copper sulfate solution. Iron is what? More reactive than copper. So one can get that solution. But instead of that, if we are taking copper plus iron sulfate, is it possible to take that reaction? No. Why? Because copper is what? Less reactive than zinc, than iron sulfate, iron. So it will not displace iron from iron sulfate solution. That is the reason always iron nail is added into copper sulfate solution, then only displacement reaction takes place, and blue color of copper sulfate get converted into green color or light green color of ferrous sulfate solution, and copper get displaced from it. So such a type of reaction already we have done in first chapter. Once again I have explained here. So here if you are taking aluminum and zinc sulfate solution, then reaction takes place. But if we are taking zinc plus aluminum sulfate, then this reaction will not take place. That means what? Here metal, which is free metal, number 1 I have written, it should be more reactive metal than this type of compound. Then only the reaction takes place, and another metal gets displaced by that stronger reactive metal. So such type of reaction is known as the displacement reaction. And last chemical reaction, these metals also react with the alkali metal. They form metal salt and a hydrogen gas. Now here, some metals they react with the alkali. Alkali means what? Is stronger base or water soluble base, such as the NaOH here we are taking. So few metals, zinc, when react with sodium hydroxide, it forms sodium zincate and hydrogen gas release. Same way aluminum react with sodium hydroxide, it forms sodium aluminate and hydrogen gas release. So here total 7 chemical property of metal with chemical property of metal with different types of substance, acid, oxygen, water, as well as halogen, hydrogen, and displacement reaction. Then reaction with metal, react with alkali. All these we have completed. All these things you have to note down in your CW notebook and write down intake and final exercise question answer in your notebook. Meanwhile, if you are getting any doubt regarding this, you can send the message through WhatsApp and we will solve your doubts in coming period.